going to be probably a little bit shorter than the other streams. Oh, let me turn the light on. There we go. This stream is probably going to be a little bit shorter than our normal streams. We normally have like 2-3 hour streams, but this one's going to be about 30 minutes. I wanted to say hello, everybody. Hello, all newcomers, and welcome back, my fellow Aeternians. As always, it's me, Emperor AP, and today we are going to be continuing a stream we tried to do a little while ago. If you want to catch the beginning of that, go back to see that part. But this is the continuation of the How to Start a Micronation in 2022 series. I really wanted to get into talking about the different types of micronations. We talked about that segment on that first stream before we got interrupted. So a lot of our, well, we didn't get interrupted. I shouldn't say that. I actually had a pre-scheduled thing that I then like had to cut on and off. So we're now back and we're able to continue forward with that discussion where I had initially tried to get as much information out about the different types of nations that we could. We have other videos on that, and you guys can check that out more in our previous videos. But today, the continuation of this series is really going to be focused on why I have seen so many micronations struggle and fail, and what it is that makes micronations able to thrive in the future, especially in 2022. Hello, Gorth. How are you? It's good to see you. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you so much for liking the video and helping to support our channel. The biggest thing that you have to do as a micronationalist, especially if you're starting out in 2022, is making sure that people are aware of what you're actually trying to do. We already talked about setting up and defining what it is that you're trying to do in talking about those different government types and talking about the way that micronations should come to understand themselves. But beyond that, you have to be able to define what it is that your nation's goals are as far as advertising to people, explaining to people what it is that you're doing. Because if you're advertising really, really hard, but you don't know exactly how much, how much support you need for your micronation or what those goals require of you, you will struggle because people need to know those things. Sergey said, wait, who's the third person viewing? It's good to see you, Sergey. Thank you for liking and supporting the stream. The most difficult thing for a micronationalist in 2022 is trying to get that information out there because, of course, micronationalism is a really small niche. It's not like there's a ton of people. Hey, we got 3 people and 3 likes. Thank you all so much. We hit the magic ratio. Of course, you have those people who are going to try and jump out there really, really fast and try and advertise all their stuff. And then when people come around to see what it is that they're interested in and what it is that they're talking about, they don't have anything to contribute. So you don't want to jump the gun too early. You don't want to do that because it makes your nation look bad, but it also makes the concept of micronationalism look bad. If there's enough people running into enough micronations out there who are making these wild claims and these predictions about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, but they don't have proof and some stepping stone effect to show the value of that and the legitimacy that they're claiming, then you have a situation where people go, oh, it's just all of micronationalism. That's just what every micronation is. So you want to steer away from that. You want to make sure that you advertise and that you get your name out there, but you do so with things that you are currently doing. You do so in a way that is actively progressing your cause and that you can show that. Instead of trying to create some narratives around your nation and trying to inflate what it is that you are doing, instead focus on documenting your efforts. Whatever those efforts are, people are going to be able to see the progress. And sure, it may not always be exciting as some of the things that you could kind of drum up in your imagination and project out. There are plenty of micronations who will, stage really small things as really big ones. And you can do it for some sort of, joke or entertainment or whatever. To grab attention, but if that's the way that you create your marketing, if that's the way that you advertise all the time, then people feel disappointed and they come to expect a lack of actual proof behind that or lack of backing things up. So then when you do make larger claims and you actually do have proof to back it up, there's less people paying attention than could have been because of this reputation that you built up. So you really need to focus on that reputation. You really need to focus on how it is that you actually start to develop what it is that you're projecting out to people and how you're going to say that, to what sources you're going to say that, to how big or small an audience are you trying to reach, and what does that ultimately mean for your goals. Absolutely. Tiffany's standing right here. She's like, you don't want to be the little boy that cried wolf. That's 100% correct. Uh, appreciate you, Tiff.
Thanks.
Um, every every single group, organization, whatever, has that kind of same narrative where we all know somebody who's the boy who cried wolf. So you don't want to be that at all. Thanks, Tiff. Um, let me know when I need to start getting ready.
I'll come get you around like 50 or so.
Appreciate you. Like I said, this stream is going to be probably about 30 minutes or so, so I appreciate you all hanging out with me. The few that are, you guys are getting the information live, so if you have any questions or comments or anything, I would love to jump in and see that from you. Gorth, we have something from Gorth saying, I need tips for Gorth to spread over my city, considering that my goal is for Gorth to spread over Northampton. That is a great question, but that's the thing that's interesting, right? You expect Gorth to take over an entire city. You expect Gorth to be controlling this area. What's so important about this area? Now, of course, it is something that's a predefined jurisdiction, but it's a predefined jurisdiction in another country that has its own laws, its own rules, its own setups already. It has its own infrastructure, it has its own roads, its own sewer system, its own electrical system. So that's all connected to that city as it is in the larger nation that it's a part of. So if you were to all of a sudden become, the mayor of that town in Northampton, and you then all of a sudden decided, okay, well, we're now a micronation, we're now a part of Gorth, and everybody was on board with that, what actually does that benefit you? And why is that your goal? I think is a really important thing to think about, because there are so many challenges that come with specifically trying to target something that's already a part of another country that really makes it, without that country absolutely just falling apart before you, there's not a great way to there's not a great way to take something that is already a part of another country. So again, if that's your goal, you can absolutely go ahead with that, but I would really think about what's the thing you're trying to get out of that, and then figure out ways that you can do it through other means. Because a lot of the time you would say, oh, okay, Northampton's a big city, we can get so much money from that, we can have so much power, we'll have so many citizens if we can get all of Northampton to support us. But that's going to be something that's very hard, because the people in Northampton are saying, well, this is Northampton. We already have a thing. We already have a government. We already have an economy. We have a thing that we identify as and we like ourselves. We haven't ever heard of Gorth. We don't know about Gorth. Gorth has not been a part of Northampton history as long as Northampton has been. So that being the case, you should instead say, okay, well, how can I attract people from Northampton to become Gorthian and to support Gorth instead of Northampton? If you circumstantially happen to grow to the size of Northampton and end up encompassing it, that's wonderful. That's great. You've reached your goal. But I think you would quickly realize, if you did, that that is not the actual benefit. Controlling that area that is called Northampton is not actually important. What is important are the resources and people that are gained from that, which have nothing to do with the actual city itself, the actual territory and infrastructure that is there. Those are people who built that and created it over generations, and you want those people. You want their money. You want their time and their support. You want their recognition of your country. So that being the case, don't focus on going from zero to all of Northampton. Try to understand what it is that you need on the ground, what it is that you need today to be able to make things a little bit better in Gorth, to be able to make Gorth a little bit more of the goal that you have for it. If you did have control of all of this town, all of Northampton or whatever, what is a city or territory? What is the goal? What is that? How does that help the people of Northampton other than being a part of Gorth? What does that mean? How does that benefit them in a way that is significantly more valuable to them than being a citizen of Northampton? The Islamic Republic of Barleska joined in and said, damn, I was late. It's good to see you, and I appreciate you being here. If you are watching and still hanging out with us, please like the video. It helps a lot. Same with you, Jose Moreno. It's good to see you. I'm glad to have you as a part of the stream. And again, please like the video. It does help a lot. We have 3 likes right now. We have 2 viewers. And I'm hoping to provide some benefit, provide some education. Thank you very much for the like. It's something that's hard. It's so Gorth said, I completely agree with you. Thank you. Of course, it's hard. It's hard to get into that mindset of thinking, okay, well, I'm in this small town and eventually I want to be huge, so I should try to take over my block, and then I should try to take over my street, and then I should try to take over my neighborhood, and then I should try to take over the town, and getting larger and larger, thinking in that mindset. But people don't want that exactly. They already have those infrastructures in place for that reason most of the time because they built them up over generations of people's family, over decades and decades of just a community working together to make something, and a lot of people doing it independently with small businesses. So the thing that you want is the engine that built all of that. The thing that you want is the thing that created that. And those are those people who have the ideas, who have the small businesses, who have the money and time to and experience and family history that have built and created those things. So you want those people who will say, my family has been a wealthy and successful business owners in Northampton for over 200 years, and we support Gorth. That's what you want people to be saying. That's what you want to really happen, because that's ultimately what will fuel your goals external to Northampton, or to provide benefits for the citizens of Northampton. And you know who will know what Northampton needs? Northampton. So I think trying to get those people is more important than the specific jurisdiction. Gotcha. In addition, let's see. Aiden jumped in and said, "Hello, just woke up early to get the vaccine. Congratulations. Please be safe. Thank you for taking care of yourself and others by getting vaccinated. I have been vaccinated. Tiffany's been vaccinated. I actually got COVID even though I was vaccinated. So please do. It's important to get vaccinated. We have 5 viewers, 4 likes. Thank you guys for checking us out. Morgan Schaefer Jr. jumped in. Hello, Morgan. Good to see you. Also, thank you guys for liking the video. Aiden, I appreciate the like. Morgan, I appreciate it. Jose, I appreciate it. Jose said, I enjoy watching the stream with United Empire of Alkebulan. Thank you very much. Jose joined as well for the stream that we were in previously with the United Empire of Alkebulan. We are actually about to be jumping into a video with them at some point where they'll be on our channel as well. So if you like Alkebulan and you want to see more of them, please let me know, because we will be featuring them on the channel at some point. And again, make sure to check us out. We're trying to do stuff on TikTok and all that. Trying to get better like Alkebulan does. So please let us know about that. The largest part of that development, though, in talking about, how you go from this initial concept, which we talked about a lot on the Alkebulan stream, to, this large grand idea of where you want to be, and talking about how that's advertised. Who are the people involved thus far? What is it that is necessary for your growth and development? Because for you and what your goals are and what your hopes are may be different than other people's. And the more people that you talk to about that, the more that you'll be able to tweak your interests and your desires to get something that works for a lot of people. And you'll learn just a lot along the way about what it takes to develop a country, to develop a society, to support people and make sure that they are comfortable and thriving as they have been in their own communities potentially. Or if they haven't, what are the things that they need that they're not getting from those communities that would help them? Listen to people. So the big lesson there is to try to make sure that no matter how we move forward as nations, no matter how we continue to develop ourselves and progress ourselves, to think on the small scale first. Before you get into treaties of recognition with other micronations, before you start developing all of these things that become essentially the structure of micronationalism, before you weave yourself into the structure of micronationalism, first define yourself really well. Try to reach out to people local to you to support your country. Try to get people who will dedicate their time to helping to build and develop those ideas and to make something that is valuable to people. Economics are the biggest value driver for almost everybody on the earth. In order to survive, in order to grow, in order to have more benefits and more resources coming your way, you have to be able to produce something that has a positive value. You have to be able to take something that was worth less, whether it's raw materials, whether it's just your time, whatever it is, and have tools and abilities to turn that into something that people want to purchase from you, that people will give up their time and money and effort to actually acquire for themselves. Once you have something like that that you can give to people, then now you have this credit, this value that you can start to put out for others. Drew said, "What's up? What's up, Drew? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here." Jose says, how bad do you really want to be recognized as a micronation, AP? And I can't wait for this actual micronation to be a real thing. Thank you very much. So like you heard on the Alkebulon stream, we are 100% serious. So for the Empire of Aeternia, I myself am probably going to do this for the rest of my life. I don't expect to see the United Nations applauding Aeternia in my lifetime, but I certainly would hope that we can make real progress toward that in my lifetime. And that more importantly, we can create an environment for people, the people who become Aeternians, the people who live on our land, the people who work in our businesses, that feel comfortable, that feel supported, that feel taken care of, that feel that even if they lost every single thing that they had, that this community, this country will still take care of them and will still provide for them as they have provided to build us. We are trying to develop something that creates a new level of quality of life for people. This isn't something new to us internally. This is something that's been going on in other countries, but is new to a lot of the United States. This is something that we hope to progress even beyond the point that many other countries external to the United States have right now, and we'd like to expand upon that. But even for right now, we want to be able to create programs and to develop infrastructure to be able to afford to take care of people en masse, and to be able to allow those people to educate themselves, to allow those people to invest in opportunities that they believe in, to create their own businesses, to develop their own income streams, so that they too can be able to invest in the future and invest in all of these larger projects that we're doing, invest in other people who haven't had the opportunity to develop in that way yet, and to continue to grow this until there's more and more people coming under this umbrella of our high quality of life. We want people to support Aeternia, not because Aeternia's the most proud micronation, because we're the most well-known micronation. We want people to support Aeternia because Aeternia works for them. We want people to support Aeternia because they said, hey, my life changed because I came to Aeternia. I was able to get so many benefits. I am more wealthy. I am more successful because I am a part of Aeternia. And now I can provide that to others and continue that legacy of what Aeternia means. Aeternia has helped me personally in incredible ways. You all supporting this channel, helping us to grow, have helped to drive a stake in the ground for who we are and allow us to declare ourselves to the world. You've allowed us the funding and the energy to build momentum for our cause, to where now we are stepping closer and closer every day to a land purchase, so that we have a place for our people to meet and gather and stay and live and to feel supported. That is something that is on an entirely different level of progress. This is something that we have been aiming for years and are finally starting to reach our target on. And it's all because of you. That change in my life has made me just hungry to be able to show the value of that to other people. So you ask how serious I am about Aeternia, and I would ask you how serious you are about the well-being of your family and your friends, because that's what it is to me. I am trying to make something that helps people. I'm trying to make something that can take care of my children when I'm gone, and their children, and take care of other people, to build a community that is supportive and that can stand together, so that they can weather any storm, anything that comes, whether it's continued erosion of the earth by global warming, whether that's and pollution, whether that is the rise in automation, resulting in a smaller job market, and a more demanding job market. The way that we grow as Aeternia is human-minded, is human-centric, and we are trying to develop the technology and progress to be able to compete with modern nations on that same level, but in a smaller package, to be able to provide for people to grow that package so that we can eventually compete on large scales. That has been all brought about by the internet. That has all been brought about by just a lot of time and effort put into it. And we're not as big as we want to be, not nearly. We're not as powerful as we want to be. We're not as well known as we want to be. but every day we're stepping closer to that. Even when I have to take time off, there are people who are in our Discord server. I see it grinding. There are people who are in our on our Twitter, messaging us, talking to us. There are people on our Instagram from all over the world who contact us, trying to learn about their micronation and learn about ours. We have trade deals that are being established with other nations as we speak, some of whom you've seen on the channel, some of whom you've seen me talking to, like Alkebulan, like Arcovia, like Stemeria. We are developing in a way that is almost unprecedented for micronations. And we are not alone in that, certainly. You all are actively following along the ride with us, and we all hope to help you to that same level of progress. I have always said on this channel, I don't think everybody should start a micronation, but I do support those that do. I believe that many micronations should ultimately come together under other micronations. That, for example, the Empire of Aeternia can be a way that other micronationalists who may not have the time or ability or may want to focus on something else in their life at some point can still support a micronation and can still do the things and have the freedoms that they want as a micronationalist that they founded their nation with, but can eventually become a part of the Empire of Aeternia to provide us with their skills and knowledge, to be able to have their people supported and encouraged as a smaller part of this larger nation that we are growing and developing. So that's all thanks to you all. And that's the way that we are pursuing that. I pursue that every day with all of my money, with all of my time, with all of my energy, because it's a part of whom I am, and it's all thanks to you guys. Once again, you know, right now, I don't know how many people are familiar with this aspect of the Empire of Aeternia, but we have a land purchase funding on our website, a goal of $10,000 for land purchase, and we have reached, I believe, over $1,000 of that. So that being the case, we are actively pursuing that growth and development where it is all of the Empire of Aeternia's revenue that is held up in that number, meaning that we don't keep any of the profits from that. There is no profit to be heard of. I pay for all of the resources that it takes to make the materials that we sell on our Etsy, that we sell through our Patreon, that we help to provide for you all. I pay for everything out of my own pocket, and I take nothing back. I cover the costs, and then I take the revenue, the entire amount that someone would pay for that, minus taxes to the US government and shipping costs, and I put that directly into our land purchase funding. So that's the idea for us. We are taking all of our resources and putting it to growing and growing and providing a space for other micronations, providing an avenue for other people to grow, and eventually for them to come together under our grand tent. So, Gorth says, I have another question. How do you get people in your area to at least recognize Gorth's existence? That's hard. Let me continue on to Galania's question as well, and then I'll circle back. Galania says, I agree. Sure, unity isn't always possible, but if we granted everyone immediate freedom, not only would it be a hassle to count all the countries, but it would also overlap the borders so hard peace is impossible. Agreed. And it's something that's very difficult. Creating a country, doing something that can provide for and sustain a population is an incredibly difficult task, and many countries over the millennia have fallen and have not worked because they were not able to provide that. There are countries that exist today solely because of the support and just struggling of their own people, despite the fact that their governments and their institutions cannot support their population. They're starving people, all over the world who are a direct result of a nation's lack of ability to take care of its people. And that goes for countries in the Middle East and Asia and Africa, and even in the United States, in South America and North America and Canada. There are people who are starving in the streets all over the world, in every single country, just about. There are a few countries who have basically eradicated homelessness and hunger and poverty to that extreme extent, but very few. And any that has not are actively showing that even though they have the technological capabilities, even though they have the financial abilities most of the time, they are unable to provide fully for their populations. So we don't want to do that as micronations. We want to come with the resources to provide for our people. We want to have the support of our people going in and be able to provide them more and more freedoms, more and more benefits, more and more ease of access to all of the things that they need to elevate their lives and improve their situation. So getting people to recognize that in your area, as Gorth asked, is a very hard thing to do because you can't be certain of what that means. You have to first get people who can testify on your behalf that Gorth is something that is valuable to them. So you have to provide that value. Think of a way to provide value for people. Think of something you can do small right now to provide that benefit. And then say, okay, well, how many people can I reasonably provide that to right now? Because ultimately, the way that people are going to recognize you is not anything that you can control. You can help to push it along, but people determine whether or not your thing is valuable to them. You have no control over whether they determine it's valuable to them. And they can determine it's no longer valuable at any point as well. So you need to keep providing that value to them. And it's a hard job, it's a hard task to maintain. But I would say that the way that you do that is by accruing loyal people, people who have really truly been impacted in a positive way by what you're doing. And then you don't have to worry about, oh, how am I advertising? How am I going to convince people that this is going to work? Because those people are going to be shouting it from the rooftops. They're going to be saying, hey, everybody check out Aeternia. Look at how awesome Aeternia is. They've helped me so much. They've done so much for me. Hey, everybody check out Gorth. Look at what they're doing. Look at how much they've helped me. They will be your success stories. They will be your marketing campaign because they'll want other people to join it to get all of these benefits that they've received. They will see it as the future. Jose says, I can't wait for the rules and laws and sports of your micronation. I appreciate it. I would be excited to talk about those. Jose says, also education system and important stuff that may be an additional to your micronation. Jose, I definitely appreciate that. I would say it's a little bit difficult because as of right now, it's not feasible for us to use the small amount of resources that we have to do things like have, for example, an education system. We don't want to create a school right now because we can't feed and clothe and house our people. We don't have land to put a school on. So we have other priorities that are certainly before that. We're, of course, still growing and developing, and one day that may be a short-term goal that we have. But for right now, that's quite a long ways off because we have other things we're trying to reach first. So it's not fair for us to advertise, hey, we're going to have these Aeternian schools, and everybody say, okay, well, can I put my kids in it right now? And it's like, oh, no, because we have to get, approval for that, and we have to get funding for that, and we have to, allocate resources for that. And in addition, we don't have a place for you to live, so it provides a whole thing like that where we have to provide transportations for kids to school and also, funding for their meal programs and stuff when we don't have any of that yet. So we actively have to start with what we have, a small economy, around $1,000 or so of actual profit that we have made, of revenue that we have made, that's all going toward our land purchase funding, and starting there, having people on that land, developing that land, building on it, and then eventually moving us into bigger and better places. Before we have that land, though, we are still developing with our resources through our metals refinery, through our Imperial Market, through our Patreon, all of which you can go and check out. As well, if you like TikTok, we're on TikTok now as Empire of Aeternia on TikTok, all lowercase, all together. If you guys want to go check that out, please do. It would help us a lot. We're small, but we're just getting started. We have 7 followers, so if you want to follow us on TikTok and see more TikTok stuff from us, let us know. But I'm actively trying to branch out with all this and grow it. And I'm trying to prep for that day that we do get land so that I can really get the message out to everybody and so that I can show you all what it is that we are doing day to day to make Aeternia grow and to fulfill the promises that we have made to our people. Thank you all very much. Again, I only had a few minutes today. I'm about to head out to a birthday party, so I'm excited. I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you to everyone who has supported us, from the people who have been here for years and years to the people who've just started watching today. I appreciate you. I recognize your questions, your comments, and your concerns, and I am happy to move forward in trying to develop a better Aeternia every single day. So, again, thank you all. I am proud to be here. I'm proud to be the Emperor of Aeternia, and I can't wait for the next day with you all. See you soon. Sorry, I want to read the last couple. Empire of Aeternia, Republic of Garmaxia says, hey, I have a quick question. Do you need to have a land purchase to grow? What if you went out and planted your flag in a vacant forest or field that no one owns. Then it's probably owned by a state or some government, so you could get away with it so long as you are not infringing upon the ability of that government. But once you start digging and doing things and building things, you need your own land so that you can have rights and access over that land. If you don't own the land at any point, whoever does, whether it's a government or whether it's an individual, can come out there and say, hey, you have to stop what you're doing, and you have no legal recourse. Million Hawk says, hey, sorry, I've been gone for a while, my phone broke. All good, thank you very much for supporting and liking. Ari says, hi, every time AP live stream, I would never get notified. Have you clicked all notifications? You have to go into YouTube, hit all notifications, and make sure it says, there's like a preferences setting for like how much you want it to remind you and send you notifications. Hit all of it. Like make sure your settings on your subscriptions are good, because YouTube really likes to block small creators. So please let me know. And as well, if you join our Discord, I also sometimes announce it on there. Galania says, you'd probably get arrested if you did that, even if no one owns it, either state or government owns it. Yep. Million Hawk says, AP, do you support a team in Major League Soccer? I don't. I don't know too much about Major League Soccer, but I want to get more into it. I do follow the World Cup from time to time, though. Galania says, imagine trying to win against the biggest military in the world. Agreed. Very hard. Gomaxia says, Galania, unless you're making a big impact, the government won't do that. Agreed. Galania says, you can't support your claims by military, however. Agreed. Goodbye, Gorth. Good to see you. Jose Moreno says, the new micronation called Slowjamistan. Yeah, I have. The Slowjamistan seems concerning to me, but I will talk about that in the future. Yolani says, goodbye, long live everyone in the stream and our allies. Goodbye, everyone, and I hope you have a good day.